Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars. SoundCartel. When is scepticism healthy? And when does it start to impact business negatively? Is there a role for doubt in your business? And how can it be harnessed for good? From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. While thinking positively and only bringing proactive ideas to the table might seem helpful, it could also mask any red flags or process issues that might bring the whole idea unstuck. As Asia-Pacific business coach for EOS Worldwide, Dan Williams says that the role of the sceptic is a critical one and often misunderstood. So, he has 3 key reasons why doubt can actually be helpful. First, I asked Dan to explain the fine line between doubt and pessimism.
Well, it's definitely a fine line, and I feel for those people that are written off as pessimists when all they are is really critical thinkers that are asking critical questions. I'd often describe this as if you have some doubt, it can be healthy skepticism. But if you're just a pessimist, it's probably unhealthy skepticism. So you go into every situation prepared to look for the worst if you're a pessimist. But if you just have some doubt, it can just be a niggle that might lead you to ask a critical question.
What are your thoughts on playing devil's advocate or taking the position of your audience? For example, how they might interpret an idea.
So I have a pretty strong opinion on the concept of devil's advocate. And I've written about this and spoken about this before, that I prefer people to actually to look at it through a certain lens or to even own their opinion and just say, here's what I'm seeing or what I'm feeling. Can we break it down? And I think that's really important, especially if you're in a product or a service business, to say, let's just pause and look at that through the lens of our customer. I can give an example of writing a technical document. Most technical documents are written for the instructor, not for the learner. So I often get teams to say, let's just slow it down and think about take the beginner's mindset. If you were just to look at this for the first time, how do you think you would interpret it? And I find that's enough of a pause, to reframe that thinking.
Well, you have 3 reasons why doubt can in fact be helpful. And the first is that doubt helps us stay curious. Can you talk about this a little more?
Yeah, so if we don't stay curious or we close the door on that, and like I said before, write people off as pessimistic, then we may miss critical elements and things that we should consider. And you can really get into a mindset of thinking that you're the expert and that you know and you trust your instincts. And sometimes that might be right, or most of the time. But there could just be a critical element that we're overlooking. And I like the way Amazon approach it. Amazon are famous for using the working backwards approach. They work backwards from a product launch or a frequently asked questions. And what that does is that forces them to think with the end in mind. And that encourages curiosity right from the beginning. Like, what are the frequently asked questions we're going to have about this product is literally building curiosity into what you do. And so I work with a lot of tech companies, I really encourage them to adopt that mindset as well, to be curious and even just to seek opinions other than their own.
Your second reason is that doubt asks questions. How does it do that?
So once you open that door and give people space to bring doubt into it, the benefit is that we're asking questions by default instead of making statements. So if we're asking questions, kind of like the 5 whys. So I love that. I've been to Japan a few times and I remember going to a factory tour, a Fujitsu factory, and they had it as a part of the way they problem solve in their factory, asking why 5 times. And it can be annoying, but by the time you get to the 5th why, you're generally at the root cause as to why something happened. And it's like, yeah, but why? Yeah, but why? and so what if you know that those questions have been asked, then you, as a leader, you're able to pick up from a much higher base than going through those questions yourself. And it almost builds in an efficiency as well.
Right. And thirdly, Dan, you say doubt drives us to seek input.
Yeah, this is something that is overlooked quite often, especially in small businesses where they think they need to solve everything themselves or that they just need to leverage the wisdom in the room. So if you have doubt and you still feel that after your team has worked through it within your business, then I encourage you to look outside of the room and think, someone surely has done this before, or I know someone, phone a friend and, seek that input, because it could lead you to pull a thread that helps you to solve something for good or to really, level up what you're doing.
That was Dan Williams, business coach at EOS Worldwide. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.